Welcome to Comptroller's Corner. I'm your host, Pat Curry, joined as always by Buffalo Comptroller Mark Schroeder. Our top story today, the Comptroller has put the city's financial information in a user-friendly format known as the Popular Annual Financial Report. This is the fourth report of its kind the Comptroller has issued. The previous three won awards for outstanding achievement by the Government Officers Finance Association. Now, Mark, this is an optional report completed by your office.
Correct.
And what you were trying to do is take the city's financial report, the comprehensive annual financial report, and put it into a format that citizens can read and understand, people who might not have the accounting or financial background, but still want to learn about the city's finances and where they're headed.
Exactly. So you hit it right, Patrick. The PAFR, or the Popular Annual Financial Report, it is optional. There are probably around 60 municipalities around the nation who opt in to do it. The CAFR, as you rightly pointed out, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, is mandatory. It's a mandatory report, and as our viewers probably know, because I've said this before, it's 179 pages of numbers, and so it's not really a fun document to be able to go through and understand. So the PAFR really works for us because I view it as the people's report. And when I go out, and I do often go out to every single neighborhood in the city of Buffalo, to community groups, block clubs, senior citizens, whatever it is, I bring that with me, and it's very easy to understand. And those in the audience who are old enough to remember when we were in high school, we would often get what is called the Cliff Notes. Rather than read the whole book, the Cliff Notes would give you the summary. Well, this is really the summary of what's happening in the city of Buffalo. We have a couple of pages of numbers, which are important in terms of revenues and expenditures. But we also go into the economic development. We identify some of the institutions in our city. We also identify the who's who works in City Hall, the mayor, the comptroller, the council members, the different departments. So all in all, it is a very, very nice document. And the most important part of it, in my view, is on the back cover. The back cover shows the mission statement and the vision statement. And you know, there have been elected comptrollers since 1847. This is the first time ever in our history that we developed the mission statement and the vision statement. And we means the people who work in the comptroller's office. No matter what their title is, clerk or deputy, they had an opportunity to decide what our mission is and what our vision should be. And I'm most proud of this document.
Now, as we mentioned, this is the fourth one you've done. The previous three have won an award. You've submitted to the Government Finance Officers Association this report for another award. We'll find out in the summer if we won it, and we're pretty confident that we did. But just as you mentioned before, I just want to walk the viewers through this document where there's some welcoming information from you on this first page and information about the award that this had won. Again, there's some economic development information on the next page and some business information about the major businesses that are located in Buffalo.
Right.
And more of the progress on the waterfront and the housing market and the Seneca One Tower. Then we get into education and culture on this side, and there's info about Albright Knox Art Gallery, and they're raising $100 million. And then the demographics of the city, what the racial makeup and the class of workers, jobs, income numbers for the people that live in the city of Buffalo.
That's a very important page because the rating agencies are also interested in that page. They're interested, really, quite frankly, in the whole publication. But the demographics, which the rating agencies kind of view as the socioeconomics of the city of Buffalo. So yeah, you're right, Patrick. It's an important document that a lot of different people are looking at.
And then it has a guide to city government on the next page, and along the left-hand side, the contact information for the mayor, the comptroller, and councilman. And then it has a listing of all the departments of the city and what they do and some of the statistics about some of the services they provide. And then we get into the financials, and we can talk about this a little later, but some of the good news that the city has gotten is Fitch is upgrading the city's bond rating to AA-. And then, of course, the $1 million refund that you received that the city has received from National Grid as a result of your audit.
Sure.
And then we get into the real numbers here and some charts showing previous years and the amount of money that is getting spent and the amount of revenue that's coming in for the city and our overall assets and liabilities in that position. So it really is a comprehensive document, but it's very easy for your average citizen to understand and read, and they can learn all about not only what you're doing in the comptroller's office, but what's happening in the city as a whole.
Yeah, that's why I believe it is award-winning, and quite frankly, I like to reiterate this. I mean, some of our viewers know that not only is Patrick Curry the host of this show, but he also works for me as an executive assistant in the comptroller's office, and it's Patrick Curry, his great work and skill and experience, who develops this PAFR. The reason why it's so important, Patrick, that I think that the residents of City of Buffalo know, is that I am aware of other cities who do this. The city of Pittsburgh does this, and they pay an outside advertising agency $35,000. Now, don't get any ideas, Patrick, but this is what happens when you bring the right people to the office, and they have the right skills. And Patrick Curry's background is perfect for this publication, and he works with Claire Waldron, who's a certified public accountant in Patrick's office, and together, along with others, the deputies are helpful. They're all CPAs. This is a award-winning publication, and the number one reason why we do this is because of what the mission statement says. We have a responsibility to be transparent. And so this is our transparency report to the people so that they know how their taxpayer dollars are being spent, period.
Now, you mentioned transparency. The popular annual financial report is one part of your efforts to bring the finances and bring transparency to the city of Buffalo. The other is called Open Book Buffalo. Now, that's also on your website.
Right.
And citizens can find out about every vendor the city spends money with, every employee, salary information, every payment, going back 3 years, and they can compare, do budget to actual comparisons, year-to-year comparisons. Everything is searchable, everything is sortable, and they can find any real financial information about the city on the Open Book Buffalo, which is available on your website.
Not only that, but not too long ago, I was invited to go to the Buffalo Rotary Club, and I actually gave a presentation, on Open Book Buffalo. And later this week, we've been invited to a North Buffalo organization, and they've asked us to present the Open Book Buffalo, which is helpful to them because different community groups have used the information to help themselves and their community. So we feel it's a very, very important document, and it's something that we're very, very proud of.
Now, you make this document available to the citizens. They can go on your website, city-buffalo.com/comptroller, and they could download this document and view it on the internet. But if they want this paper copy like the one I'm holding in their hand, holding in my hand right now, they can just call your office at 851-5255, and we'll mail them out one of these. Or if they want you to come to a block club meeting or another neighborhood group, you would be happy to come and bring these with them and present what this is all about in Open Book Buffalo.
Yeah, no doubt. Every week, I go to community block club meetings or different organizations across the city, and I always bring with me the People's Report and also the Open Book Buffalo report. But you're right, those who would like to see it instantly can go on our website, and they can use it to their advantage automatically and instantly, which is the whole design that we did it that way.
And they can actually get the previous 3 PAFRs that were so award-winning in the past, in addition to this current PAFR. And that's where they can also find more about Open Book Buffalo, which you're looking to expand. Now, Open Book Buffalo has, like the popular annual financial report, has information on the city of Buffalo. But as the viewers may know, there are certain entities that are related to the city of Buffalo but are separate financial entities. One of those is the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency, and another is the Buffalo Sewer Authority.
Right.
Now, you're going to be unveiling soon, hopefully by the next time we talk on Comptroller's Corner, the expansion of Open Book Buffalo to include these two entities and put their financials on the web for everyone to see. And then you're also looking at other entities like the Buffalo Municipal Housing Authority in order to put their financials on Open Book Buffalo. So voters and the citizens of Buffalo can see exactly where these entities are spending their money and where they're getting their money, and all the financial information will be there at their fingertips with a click away.
Yeah, that's exactly what our goal has been. And we did the low-hanging fruit first. We did the city side, and then there are some entities that's a little harder to put the information up because of the way how the munis system works. But then there are also some authorities, but yet they're all on our mind that at the end of the day, every single entity that has to do with spending taxpayer dollars will be in full view of the public, and these are documents that we are very, very proud of, and we actually stand out. And even the Buffalo News editorial pages have been very favorable editorials on the PAFR and also on the Open Book Buffalo. So that's a good thing when you give people an opportunity to know about their government. That's what my job is as a comptroller, and that's what we will continue to strive for.
All right, well, Mark, we have to take a brief break.
Okay.
Stay tuned for more Comptroller's Corner after this message.
Are you unemployed, underemployed, or do you need to improve your job skills? Then the Buffalo Employment and Training Center is here for you. The Buffalo Employment and Training Center is your one-stop employment shop. Whether you need help with your search, access to information, seminars, or training, our expert and caring staff is here for you. And the best part is, all of our services are free. The Buffalo Employment and Training Center is conveniently located at 77 Goodell Street in downtown Buffalo with plenty of free parking. For more information, call 856-JOBS or visit us on the web at www.workforcebuffalo.org.
Hi, welcome back to Comptroller's Corner. I'm your host, Pat Curry, joined as always by Buffalo Comptroller Mark Schroeder. The Comptroller has drafted an amendment to the city charter which would require that the 3 division heads within his department be certified public accountants. Now, Mark, the current division heads in your department are all certified public accountants. They weren't when you came in as controller,
right.
But that's one of the most important things that you wanted to make sure that the leadership within your department had the qualifications and the training in order to maximize the potential of the citizens and of the workers in your department, in the Department of Audit and Control.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, I love history, and quite frankly, I love the Buffalo City Charter. I'm very aware of it. And the Buffalo City Charter really began in 1927. Daniel Kennefick, a lawyer from Buffalo, was the architect of it. And so it's pretty clear to me that by design, a controller doesn't have to be a certified public accountant. It's good that a controller has managerial skills, but it's not required to be a certified public accountant. And quite frankly, Patrick, our history goes back to 1847. There has only been one controller who was a CPA, and that was George O'Connell back in the 1970s. So therefore, I feel it's very, very important that I surround myself with people in audit and control who are skilled, experienced, and who have the educational and the experience background. And so that is the reason why when I first became the controller, I realized that there was only one certified public accountant out of 45 employees. I wasn't troubled by it, but it was on my mind that I wanted to do something about it. And that's exactly what we did. And I recruited some folks from Buffalo to be in the different divisions. And so the city accountant, the city auditor, the debt management officer, they are all certified public accountants. So I think it's very important that the charter be amended. And quite frankly, who in the Common Council is going to really complain about having experienced people in each of the divisions? I think it's going to be something that's going to pass pretty easily, and so it's just important. In previous controllers have had different people in the divisions, and quite frankly, I think it's better for the people to have the protection of having a certified public accountant, especially in these very important divisions that they're responsible for.
Now, you mentioned experience. The amendment that you crafted would also increase the amount of experience that these employees would have to have from 3 to 5 years, or 4 to 5 years in the other case. So they would have to have 5 years of experience and also be a certified public accountant. Now, you mentioned that the previous people who held these roles, for instance, the city auditor wasn't an accountant before you put Kevin Kaufman, your city auditor, in there, and you can really see the difference in the quality of the audit reports that are issued by a CPA as opposed to one's previous, which was issued by an attorney, but not with someone with the experience and the training that the certified public accountant does. And in fact, Kevin Kaufman has used the International Institute of CPAs in order to guide his processes for internal auditing of his division within the Department of Audit and Control.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so when I first became the controller, we had one CPA. We now have 10 certified public accountants, and we have them in the 3 different divisions of accounting, audit, and also debt management. Even in our office, we have a special assistant who's a CPA.
Claire Waldron, you mentioned her before.
So these are very important things. And we even have some homegrown people in our office who were inspired by some of the CPAs that we had there, and they went through the course at their own expense, and it's expensive to be a CPA. It's a lot of work, and so we're just delighted, and it's really working. And I believe over the next several weeks, when the Common Council deliberates, they will understand that this is an amendment change that is going to be beneficial to the city of Buffalo. Quite frankly, Patrick, I'm very, this is very important to me. I understand that in government there could be certain patronage positions. I get it. But in the controller's office, I reject it. And so that is the reason why I have certified public accountants. That's the reason why I have professionals who have an accounting, financial background in the controller's office. And so I encourage the Buffalo Common Council to put it in writing, to put it in the charter, so in the future, the citizens of Buffalo can be protected by those who have the most skill in audit and control.
Now, you mentioned that you had a few employees, homegrown CPAs, employees that actually earn their CPAs while working in your office. And one of the reasons that this amendment is important is because in order to become a CPA, you have to work under a CPA. Your CPA has to be your supervisor for a certain period of time. So by requiring that, all employees would be serving under one of these 3 division heads, by requiring them all to have CPAs, you're automatically giving all the employees in your department an opportunity to work under CPA, which is a requirement in order for them to get their CPAs.
Yeah.
So this will help your employees reach that CPA, which will not only help their career development, but also help them to take over one of these positions in the future if they're eligible.
It's funny that you say that, Patrick, because it reminded me. I remember my first year as the controller, and the city auditor, as you mentioned, was not a CPA. He was an attorney. And so I remember Ann Forty-Sherino, who's my first deputy, she told me that she wanted to move an employee out of audit into accounting, the accounting department. And I said, why would we do that? And she explained that because in accounting, there was a CPA, and this person needed to have that training. Now, we don't have that problem at all. And there's only 4 areas in the controller's office. All 4 areas have a certified public accountant, or plural, more than one. And so we got it covered on every front.
You mentioned Ann Forty-Sherino. She's actually one of the CPAs that actually earned their CPAs while working in your department, and she couldn't have done it if she wasn't working under a CPA.
Yeah, so what was interesting about Ann Forty-Sherino is that she started in the mid to late 1970s, and the CPA rules were different in terms of being in the public sector and being in municipality. But I'll tell you something. She not only is she outstanding and is she a great technician, but she's tenacious, and she earned that CPA, and she was just awarded it within the last 2 or 3 years. And it wasn't because of anything that she did or did not do. It was because the system was wrong. The system is now right.
You mentioned, we talked about the city auditor, Kevin Kaufman. We've seen the difference in having a CPA in that. Obviously, the city accountant is Bill Ferguson. He's a CPA. You'd obviously want a CPA as your city accountant.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then the third division head is the investment and debt officer. Now that's Greg Szymanski. He's a CPA. He deals with our banking partners for the city of Buffalo. And recently you've met with our banking partners with the topic being, how can they better help our school system and help our students achieve in the city of Buffalo, and what they can do to assist in that process. Why don't you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, no question about it. And so with Greg Szymanski being a certified public accountant, it's very, very helpful to us because his responsibility in part, Patrick, is to work with the banks that do business with the city of Buffalo. The banks who currently do business with the city of Buffalo is M&T Bank, also J.P. Morgan, and also Key Bank, which is a new partner of ours.
And they became a partner when they acquired First Niagara Bank.
Exactly.
Which you were previously doing business with, and now you're doing business with Key because of that merger.
And we're going through the transition right now. In fact, I just left a meeting where Greg Szymanski is hosting a meeting of Key Bank employees just to make sure that we have it right going forward, that we're accommodating not only the city side, but we also have the responsibility with Key Bank to also work for the Buffalo Sewer Authority and also the Buffalo Public Schools, which led to this question. So Dr. Kreiner Cash, the superintendent of schools, I give him credit. Keep in mind, he is the 5th superintendent in 6 years, the only superintendent in 12 years who was able to negotiate a contract with the teachers. And when he asked me if I would bring to him the different banking organizations so that he could have a conversation with them, I certainly agreed. And so I did arrange a meeting for J.P. Morgan Chase and also for Key Bank. He already had a relationship with M&T Bank, and I arranged for the superintendent to meet with them. This superintendent has put forth a comprehensive plan for the school district. It's called the New Educational Bargain with students and teachers. And so the superintendent has a responsibility also to organize and to make sure that the community schools in East Buffalo, North Buffalo, South Buffalo, and on the west side are operating with full strength. And sometimes you need more than just the budget or help from the state. And so I'm proud to say that J.P. Morgan Chase and Key Bank have now become partners to help the superintendent with his comprehensive plan. And the comprehensive plan has to do with having a rigorous early education program, really enhancing the community school concept, to be able to take to the next level the new innovative high schools and connect them with the medical corridor, Solar City, Mercy Hospital, Catholic Health. It doesn't matter, to connect our students with these training and job opportunities that will come later for them. And also within our city, there are families and children who have needs that the community schools can help them with. So I thought it was a very smart thing to do, to have the banking community meet our new superintendent, and it's working.
Great. Now, Mark, we only have about a minute left. Martin Luther King Day was a few weeks ago, and Black History Month is upon us. You actually hosted a Martin Luther King event where you honored Frank Messiah, the retired head of the Buffalo NAACP,
right,
and Mrs. Triggs, and you're doing an event upcoming in Black History Month with Mrs. Triggs. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Black History Month and Martin Luther King and the impact it's made on you?
Yeah, so I think what I'll do, Patrick, if we only have a short period of time here, that maybe I'll reserve the Black History Month for our next show. But I do want to say that the Martin Luther King tribute event that we had at Fat Cats on Kensington and Olympic, it was absolutely outstanding. We had over 150 people, and as you indicated, we did give a Martin Luther King tribute to Miss Triggs, who has been a tremendous public servant. She does things across the community, east, west, north, and south, and I've been working with her for 12 years. And then Frank Messiah, who has been over 50 years of service to our community. And so I was really pleased to be in a position to honor them. And Dr. Martin Luther King has done so much for not only the civil rights movement, but today people are still his disciples who are out there doing good work, and it's just something that was a tremendous event. And I'm also looking forward to Black History Month, and then I'll tell some stories about Black History Month and then how it coincides with St. Patrick's Month that we celebrate in March. And so I'm interested in sharing those stories with you maybe the next time that we meet.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us. That's all the time we have for Comptroller's Corner today. And thanks at home for joining us. Make sure to check out the Comptroller's website at city-buffalo.com/comptroller, where you can obtain the popular annual financial report and check out Open Book Buffalo. And also make sure you check out our Twitter handle, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. On behalf of Mark Schroeder, this is Pat Curry, signing off.